Hey AD, it's Ashley Tisdale. Come on inside. This house was very different because everything else before this house I have completely worked on. My first home was like built from the ground up for my dad, and we continued that process through many homes. I just made the choice that, you know what, I feel like we should find something that's move-in ready. And my husband, each time he's like, we're staying here for a while. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, actually, do you want to move? And he's just like, oh my God. So this time we just went with like a specific list. I'm always a big believer in manifestation. And we came across this amazing space. And for the first time, I did not have to do really anything to it except for the furnishing. This is the living room. I had a lot of fun designing this room. I started with the sofa. It's a Mario Bellini sofa from 1971. And from there, I just built out the room. The hardest part about this room was that there's kind of like 3 different rooms. And so just trying to make everything work together and make it look aesthetically really nice. But this was my first time, you know, really doing this myself. I'm really happy with how it has come out. Over here is these really cool chairs from Sabin. He also does dressers that are pretty amazing. The coffee table is apparatus. And I was definitely hesitant because knowing I was having a baby, I was like, okay, this is probably like not the greatest coffee table for this because it has sharp edges. But I was like, you know what? This room is gonna be like kind of the no baby zone, but she definitely comes in here. But we just really watch her. These wicker chairs are from this amazing antique store called JF Chen. The rugs are from Mayraban Rugs, which are like my favorite. Basically in this room, I went off of this light that was already here, and I just liked how there was yellow in it. And so I saw this chair at a store called Guard that I shop at a lot. And I was just like, I have to get this. This tree just got here. I'm always scared about bringing trees into the house because I'm not very good at keeping them alive. So I'm really scared, but I think we're gonna go do well with this one. I was never into color as much. I was always into neutrals, and there's something about being pregnant and seeing like little spots where I could like add color to it that made me feel like, oh, this is gonna be a fun home. Like I wanted to kind of do neutral, chic, but also quirky and fun because a baby is gonna be obviously brought into this house and she loves it. I have this awesome collector's Hans Wagner chair, and I got this from JF Chen. I definitely have taken a nap here. It's my little me time where I'm like, okay, just get like a 5-minute refresh. This house is very bright. It's very zen. That's what we loved about it. These bookshelves, I have to be honest, did not have books in it like a couple days ago. I had my husband go to a bookstore and I was like, you need to get 400 books. Obviously my husband's like, we should be like collecting books over time and putting them in the shelves. And I was like, no, not when AD comes. So this is the dining room. The first piece that I started with was this apparatus chandelier. I thought it was so quirky and fun. I got this table from Guard, and I also got these chairs custom made from Stahl and Band, which I love the green because we're in the trees and I just felt like it really picked up on that. But very funny story about this table. So the table is custom made and it came and it only fit 6 chairs. And I was like, oh my God. Thankfully, the guys at Guard were so sweet and they're like, you know what, we'll take it back. And so that was my first mistake in interior design, was this table. But it all ended really well, thank God. This is a dresser from Sabin. I store as much as I can in here. The one thing about this house is that it does not have a lot of closet space. And I have a candle obsession, so that's where a lot of our candles are. You know, one thing about being home for the last 2 years, like working from home, staying inside, I just like have created these rituals that really help me in my mental health. And a lot of it is just as easy as opening a window and lighting a candle. And I'm telling you, it changes your whole like energy of that space. It's just something that I love, and I have burned through a lot of candles over the last 2 years. This is the kitchen. This is a very minimalistic kitchen. There's definitely hardly any space, but Chris and I are not huge cooks, so when we saw it, we were like, oh, this is awesome. However, having a baby, you cook a lot more. So for me, it's all about organization, and really, there is no pantry. That's insane. It's something that we loved about it, but it is something that we're like, oh, what are we gonna do? So this is kind of like our pantry drawer. Don't judge, because it's not very organized right now, but we really try to make it as organized as we can. So there's just like little things here and there. Basically, I stuffed everything that was on this in here, so I'm not going to show you anything else because it's all hidden in the drawers. These stools are from Thomas Hayes, and what I loved about these is that like the leather ages. And so one of the things about this kitchen specifically and about the house was when we saw it, there was a guy living here, and so it's very masculine, and I'm always about feminine and masculine balance, and so I love that this warms up the room a bit. Weirdly, I've become known for my kitchens because I renovated the last house that I was in. I renovated that kitchen with my dad. And the house that you guys actually last came to, my friend actually, she bought it, and she hired me during the pandemic to fully renovate and design her kitchen. So I did that kitchen at that house. And then my girlfriend Vanessa was like, hey, I need some help. And I knew obviously all the vendors, and weirdly I become really into kitchens, even though I don't use them very often. So this is this TV room. You know, I was really excited because I wanted this to kind of be a more casual space. And I knew that obviously my daughter Jupiter would be hanging out in here. Normally there's a lot of her toys in here. It's just very clean because you guys are here today. I just went with this sofa first. I found it at this really cool store called Beautiful Mess Home. I knew it could take like a real beating with like whatever food stains and all of that, because it's just like very durable. I love this light. It's by Annie Lee. And this house, like I said, I went with like a lot of quirky shapes. And so anything that would catch my eye, I just felt like this was pretty awesome. And then this is our picture of our Maui, who was in the last AD video, but she passed away a couple years ago. So we just love to have her kind of be a part of something that we are constantly in this room every morning. So she's kind of always here with us. So this is Jupiter's room. When we were prepping for Jupiter to come, the walls were white just like the rest of the house. I did have this Kaylin Studios crib, which is like the best non-toxic crib on the market. So I was really excited to get this. And of course the Leanne Ford chair, which sadly didn't come until she was like 2 months because it was on back order. But when we got it, I was so excited to finally have a place to like obviously rock her to sleep. And then, yeah, I just basically saw this little swing. Of course, my dad, being the guy he is, he put it up for us. And like, I think you could like, I don't know, you can put like 500 pounds on this because he's just that crazy. He's like, don't worry, this will definitely hold her. And I'm like, thanks, Dad. Welcome to our room. I had a lot of inspiration from designers that I have looked up to, like I've mentioned Kelly Wearstler, but I also stayed at a friend's house who had Bridget Romanek, who did their interior design. And I was really inspired by the bedroom and how she used wood and textures and tones. So that really inspired me for this. Basically, this chair, I honestly was so excited just because I love the texture of it. And I was like, oh my God, this is gonna look so amazing. Furniture pieces can be done and put in other rooms and fit in other rooms. Like that was something that was really important to me, that, you know, wherever we go next, if we do, that this stuff can come with us. And I then got this really cool dresser from, of course, Sabin, who's done a lot of the stuff in the house. He did the dining room dresser, but he has this really cool pattern, and I liked how kind of funky and quirky that was. Also, I got these burl wood nightstands from Rose Unaki. I didn't realize that they were in euros when I looked at the price. So I had no idea. I just didn't, I just was like, oh yeah, those are great. That's gonna finish the room. And then I saw my bill, obviously something that was much more than I thought it was. I loved the bathroom because I think it's very cool. One thing I wanted to do that I didn't get to do was I want to change these doors to steel doors, but my husband thinks it's crazy because then you just see right through to the bathroom. And so I was like, okay, maybe later, but it's definitely gonna happen eventually. I, as a mom, just love to spend time in here. I have this amazing bath. I don't know if you guys are bath people, but I'm such a huge bath person, and anytime I'm feeling stressed, I mean, it is just honestly the most relaxing place for me. I Netflix when I'm taking a bath sometimes. I just love to use this detox. I'm really into detoxing, and sometimes I'll just have some rosé and watch some Netflix. That is a perfect night for me. So this is actually my office. I just don't really need much except for a computer. This moon art was here. This is actually what sold us on the house because the past owner had a huge collection of art, and obviously me and Chris knew we were naming our baby Jupiter, and seeing this moon, it was just something about it that I was like, this is the house, and Chris felt the same way. And then this Noguchi museum light was something I had wanted for a long time, and it was out of stock. And I was having a colonoscopy. And I made my husband set a timer to order it. Because they're literally it sells out so quickly. And I was like, babe, whatever you do while I'm under, just order the Noguchi museum light. That's how we got the light. And this is our kind of movie entertainment room. I wanted to kind of build off of these built-ins that were already here. And so they were black, and so I just felt like something that, could warm it up a bit was doing more of a neutral couch. I found this sofa on Sixpenny. It is the comfiest room. It's really kind of where we watch TV, but then there is a screen that comes down and we get to watch movies. Jurassic World is my all-time rainy day movie. That is by far, I will watch that movie over and over and over again. And one of my friends is in it, Lauren Lapkus, but I'm obsessed with that movie. Anything dinosaur is so good. Well, just Jurassic Parks are so good. This is our pool area. Basically, we didn't have to do much because it takes up so much room, this pool. And what was really awesome was that I've collected these hearts for years from my favorite hotel in Cabo. And I gave it to Jessica, and she was like, I know exactly where to put them. And so she sprinkled them all over. And it's just so cool because they used to just be in a bin in my house. We don't use the pool that often. The one thing about our home is that the best part is that we're covered in trees, and the worst part is that our pool is covered in trees. So it's looking very nice today. We just obviously with the baby, we don't really get to kind of just have those moments where you're just pool day, but she does like the pool. So, we'll have a little bit of that time, especially in the summertime. One of the things that we loved about this property was just how zen and calming it was, and the gardens, and obviously you can't get more zen than this amazing sauna that came with it. I was so stoked. I was pregnant, so I could not wait to have the baby so I could use the sauna. I was just really excited to be able to bring my daughter into a space that felt very calming in a time in the world where it was just kind of a lot of anxiety around it. So this is actually what I really did here, was I hired a landscape designer, Jessica Viola, and I just felt like, oh my gosh, I just had this vision of like a fountain and earthy kind of zen space to add to the beautiful garden. I do think that interior design is not just about the inside, it's the outside and, you know, just presenting your house and what that looks like, the first thing that people see. And I have to show you this little guy. I found him at this place called Big Daddy's, and I actually can see him through the window in our kitchen, and it just reminds me not to take life so seriously. Thanks, AD, for stopping by. I had so much fun. I always have fun with you guys, but until next time, see you later.